Good morning. My name is Wesley Crunk. I'm an outreach instructor for the Southwest Carpenters Training Fund. Today is January 8th, 2018. And today we'll be doing a lesson plan called Changing the Blade. So, a circular saw, a power saw, skill saw in this particular moment is a very essential tool to our trade, to being a craftsman. It's because of its speed, its accuracy, as well as it being portable, its portability. But this is a power tool, and it must be used properly or it can cause grave injury, as all power tools. One of the biggest issues with this is the blade. If one of these teeth are damaged, or if the blade is not properly set, or if this blade is damaged in any way, using it can become a very dangerous process. And it is a very quick and easy process to change out the blade. And that's what we're going to learn today. So, to start out, the very first thing that you want to do when dealing with any power tool, if you're going to perform maintenance on it, is you want to disconnect the power switch. You don't want any power to be going through the tool, so as to when you are doing maintenance on it, if you happen to accidentally touch the trigger, we're not in danger of being injured by the saw. Second thing you want to do is to start to take the blade off of the saw. This is an arbor nut wrench. That is an arbor nut. This will usually be located in the back end of the skill saw, and it'll sit like that. You want to always know where this is and keep it on the tool when you're not using it, because if you lose it, you can still change the blade, but then you have to improvise, like using a crescent wrench or something else that will grab the nut to take it off. Right now we're in good hands. We have an arbor nut. First thing you want to do is you want to stop the blade from rotating so that we can take off the arbor nut. In order to do that, there's a button. Sometimes on different saws it's located differently. It may be in the front, maybe in the top. Right here, it's by the motor. That button right there, we have to push that in and then rotate the blade. We're doing that so that the blade will find the groove, the locking groove. Okay? Right there, see how it's not moving? That's the locking groove. You want to hold that nut, take your arbor nut wrench and put it on the arbor nut and turn it the way that the arrow indicates for off. There's an arrow in the center of that nut. I don't know if you all can see it from there, but it has an arrow that is pointing this way for off. So I want to hold that blade locked. I want to get my arbor nut wrench on there, and I want to turn it, right? And once I get it loose, keeping the blade locked, spin it, extract it. Always put the nut in the place where you can see it again, because you don't want to lose it, because if you can't put the blade back on, you will be not able to work. Then there's an O-ring like washer that goes in between the nut and the blade. Take that, put that right there, make sure you don't lose that. And then you have this guard. The guard is what keeps you from coming in contact with the blade when you're cutting, and it'll also stop you from taking it off. So you rotate this lever up, take the blade out, all right? Then you can expect it for chips on the teeth, right? You can expect it for any type of warp in its shape, right? We're going to imagine that this blade was damaged. Now we're going to imagine that we're picking up a new blade. But before I move on, does anybody have any question about taking a blade off of a skill saw? Okay, so we'll move forward. So now we've got the blade off. We've discarded the damaged blade into a metal bin or something just for metal or trash to get it out so nobody can hurt themselves with it. Now we have to put on the new blade. With new blades, there's always a perforated metal piece in the middle that you have to take off so that it can fit into the saw seat, the blade seat in the center of the saw. If you use that, a hammer, something solid, just pop it out, it's perforated, it pops out. Now this is very important. If you look at this blade, the way that these teeth are going is the direction of the rotation, the way it needs to be. On the guard, there's an arrow. That arrow needs to coincide with the blade teeth. So if you see that, and you put that in the seat of in the center of the saw where the seat fits, you'll take your O-ring, you'll place it back over the center. Now you'll take your arbor nut and put it in and turn the opposite of the way that you take it off. And it'll be the opposite of the arrow, because usually the arrow tells you how to take it off. So in this case, I'll be going back to my left. It's usually lefty-loosey, but with saws, it's opposite. Lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. Now you see how the blades are turning that way? The guard turns that way. That means our blade is on correctly. We will re-grab the locking mechanism. And now we'll put the arbor nut wrench back on the arbor nut. And we will go the opposite way to tighten it. This is pretty important. You want to have it more than hand tight, but not too tight to where, you've damaged it. Sometimes it's awkward grabbing it. There it is. Found that groove again. So you got it tight. Give it, another turn. Make sure it's good. Last thing you want to do is plug it back up to a power source. Give it a test. And that's what you want. You want that clean hum. You want a nice rotation without a warp wobble. And you know that you're ready to cut properly. So that concludes this. So right now I want to ask some questions. I know we went kind of quickly, but this is something that you want to perform fast, safe, and efficient on a job site so that you can continue to get your work done. But you also, one of the first things you want to do is you want to be safe. So with me doing this, and I've done it hundreds of times in the field, and you guys maybe haven't, do you have any questions about this entire process before we go further? Yes, that's a good question. The question was, what happens if you put it on the opposite way of the arrow, the teeth going the opposite way? That's a big problem because the teeth are designed to cut up into the material. So if you turn it around, it's kind of going the opposite way. And that's really a way to damage the blade. Also, you're in a danger of having kickback because it's not cutting the right way. You also have a bigger danger of it hitting a piece of your material and flying off and hitting a bystander. So you always want to make sure that those teeth match that blade rotation. Good question. Another good question. The size of the blade will be on the saw. The size of the blade that's supposed to be on the saw, it'll be on the saw. This is a 7-inch blade, right? So that's the type of blade that goes on this saw. And yes, there are different blades that will attach to this saw. If a blade is 7 inches and it's a carbide blade, then that blade will go on and it'll be able to cut metal. You also have like diamond blades, and you can cut into concrete with that. This saw can do a lot of different things, and different blades can be put on it. And a lot of the procedures are pretty much the same. Yes. Do you guys have any more questions? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're all going to take a turn, take our time, and we're all going to change the saw blade. All right.